Hey y'all, it's your boy Big Stu
and Kayla,
and welcome back to
Ballin with the Ballards.
So today we got a special video for you guys. This is probably what one of the biggest factors in marriages. It's a constant agenda on the board. And this video is gonna be regarding finances and marriage and kind of how that plays in our relationship and
and how we tackle it.
Right.
Disclaimer though, official disclaimer: we are not professionals.
Nowhere near
Neither
close.
of us has. He has a business degree, but
I have one.
But we
don't
have no money experience. Like, this is all just our personal experience.
Right.
What has worked for us personally.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come sue us if it doesn't go your way. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So to set this all off, I think I have to share with you guys a story that kind of framed our whole relationship. It made me view her in a different light than at least the chicks that I had dealt with. Not that I had dealt with a lot, to be fair, to be honest. But it kind of made me be like, all right, yeah, her heart is in the right place, so yeah, I could rock with this. And that was, I don't know how long we had been dating.
I think I was still at OBU whenever we had this conversation. That I just graduated.
So maybe we had been dating like
maybe a
year, maybe.
It was within that first year, right around that first year.
Yeah, and so I don't even know. I can't, again, that's so long ago, right, which is crazy in itself. But I don't know how we got on the conversation, but she made a comment like, I ain't gonna say out of the blue because it probably was within the confines of that conversation, but she was essentially like, are we gonna take care of your student loans? And I was like, what? Oh, excuse me? Because like that's just rare in this day and age of like people being selfless. Like, and so like, but that just kind of like, that's kind of like the barometer for already being financially thinking differently, and so that kind of started the journey.
And then whenever I came back from OBU, then we were looking for a church. We found Battle Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if we're members yet. We had just become members. And they offered Financial Peace University as a community group.
Mm-hmm.
And so I signed up for it and was convinced him to come along. So that was, we weren't even engaged when we took that. We were just dating. And I really wasn't even trying to get him to go as like a, hey, like, we'll need this one day. It was like a, hey, like, I'm going. You should come hang out with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good. I mean, it was good advice.
That's really?
That was.
Okay.
I would have just told you, but if I was prepping you for
that's
marriage.
what you was trying to do. Stop it.
But what was really nice about that is that kind of framed, which we are, I mean, always had like similar goals. But that kind of gave us the same like lingo, the same conversation, the same like map to get to those goals.
I would say I wouldn't say we had the same goals because I don't think at that point in time we had specific goals. I would say financially, as far as like how we both are, we're very similar. Like, we don't care for like the extravagant things. Right. We're not super big spenders and shoppers. So I think that was key. I don't think we really had a...
True, we didn't have like a goal. But that was what I was trying to say. It's like we were already similar.
Right.
But that just gave us like this, put us like on the same roadmap.
It was the blueprint.
Right. And so the ultimate goal, and it still is for us to be debt free. Bible talks about how, the borrower is a slave to the lender.
Right.
And like, we'll get into later, like, we both like we fully own both our cars. And it's so nice, like, knowing like that is my car. Nothing can happen to it.
But first, before you get all deep down there.
Right.
Let's give a shout out and a salute to Dave Ramsey.
Oh yes, Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey, because like that, I mean, like I remember like how geeked and how like we were pumped, like we were like if I had that same energy right now, I'd like flip this table over and like, let's go, let's get it, like we got to conquer the world, like we were like passionate about it. And so shout out to that. I mean, if you haven't took that course, even if you just want to, I think you could probably just order it
You
for
can
your
order it,
personal.
right.
Like, if you haven't done it, like, you need to, like...
Or if he has a lot of free resources on his
He has
website.
podcast.
Oh yeah, I
He
forget
has
his
a
podcast.
podcast,
He has a
yep.
Facebook page. But if you know anyone who has ever taken the class,
Borrow
you can
there,
borrow
yep.
their stuff and you get like all the access for free. You can like print you can print the stuff like with his
Right.
permit and a lot of people kind of hate on him because it's like he's making money off common sense advice type thing. But I mean, it really helped us,
Oh, yeah.
and he's helped lots of other people.
Right.
So I mean, but yeah, we're big fans of Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace.
Yeah. So like our goal after we got out of that was kind of like, it was like we were pretty much gonna follow his lead step by step, and eventually our big goal, and it still is, we'll get into that later on, is to be fully debt free. I mean, I eventually want to be like for real, like fully debt free, and the reason why I say for real is because I forgot, I was talking to some older people at my job. They're probably in their 50s, and they were trying to convince me that a mortgage was a good debt, and I understand generally what they're speaking of.
Right.
But my thing is like, why do I even have to have a mortgage?
Right.
Like, why can't I just not own everything I have outright? You know, that way I always thought, like, if I lost my job, then if I had to sell recycled cans
right
to make money for the
keep
taxes
the electric
and the
on,
fees
right?
and all of that, like, I could make it work. But
right.
yeah, so that's kind of our goal, is to
100%
be
debt free.
Owe nobody anything.
Right.
Everything we pay for, I mean, cash or, you know,
right, but it's money that we pay for, right, that we actually owe, not acquired on through credit. So then, whenever we did that for a year and some change on our own, and then we got married. Now one big thing that we did is we combined our accounts. We did that. We waited a month and some change until we moved to our new apartment.
Right.
But and that was kind of like the official, like, okay, like everything's like officially together. Like this lease is in our name, the accounts are in our name, and what we did, originally was we opened up multiple bank accounts. So my paycheck went into the bills account, and Stuart's paycheck went into the debt snowball account. Yep. And so like the electric, the rent, the groceries, that all came out of the bill checking account. So that was my paycheck.
The day-to-day expenses.
Right. And I was getting paid a monthly salary then.
Right.
So my salary, like, it was budgeted out all month.
Covered all, yep. And
then Stuart, he got paid bi-weekly.
Right. And
his went straight to debt. So, you know, I'd keep track of what was due when. If we had extra, we made extra payments on you do. Some people do highest interest. We did Dave Ramsey's way, which is the lowest, like, actual amount that you owe.
Right.
So when we started, we each had a car payment. Stuart had 3 student loans. Mm-hmm. I had 1 student loan, and then I had a credit card. I ended up messing up a grant, so I now have we acquired another student loan.
Wah, wah, wah. She was upset. I mean, I
cried for days.
Yeah, I was upset, but it's kind of like, it's one of those things where my personality is like, it is what it is. Like, at that point, like what they say, don't cry over spoiled milk. Like, spilled milk. Right. It's like, it is what it is. Like, we gonna make it work. That's just how my mentality is. But yeah, we had, like she said, we had all of that debt. And the biggest thing was like living within our means. Right. And that's a big factor into some stuff that happened later on. But that was probably like the biggest factor, was like, and it's not, I would say it's not as hard for us because, like I said, neither one of us is flashy. Right. Like, she'll tell you, like, I don't really buy clothes.
All his clothes he gets, he's gotten a couple from me, but most of them he gets from his mom for Christmas.
And birthdays and stuff. Like, other than that, like, I personally, and it's not like, it's just one of those things that it doesn't come to my mind. Right. Like, I'd never be like, oh, even when I'd be like, I need a new pair of jeans, it's like, it never like, all right, I'm going to the mall and get them.
Right.
It's not. It's just not. It just doesn't. Now food. Whew,
Right.
I ain't gonna talk about that. But so like, and that leaving within our means, that really factored into a big decision we made
Right.
after we found out she was we found out when we found out you were pregnant. But then when we knew like we were gonna have to get a bigger space.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment with a sunroom at the time, and the rent was upper 500, 5 something a month.
Was it?
I think 587. I think it was 587. I think.
Might have been 6 something.
Anyways, but that was around where our rent was, and we were not living in a fancy apartment at all.
But to be fair, I guess the the area was semi sketchy. But to be fair, like for an apartment in that area, because it was, if you know Tulsa, like 81st and Memorial. Was it 81st?
Between 81st and 91st.
Between 81st and 91st and Memorial, which is not like a crazy sketchy area. Our apartments had a little bit of issues, but really, we never had. And it wasn't loud or anything. We didn't really have.
But it wasn't. I mean, but we weren't paying for like immaculate pools and fitness centers.
But for that area, that was like the cheapest you could find. If you found another apartment for that cheap, like you're really in the hood for real.
Right. Because we looked at apartments essentially the same layout, but in a fancier place, and it was like $300 more a month. Right. But we went with the cheaper one, and both of our cars are older. I mean, they're not decrepit or anything, but they're not brand new cars. Right. And when we paid them off, we left them paid off. We didn't go get new ones. But so then, whenever we found we were pregnant, we couldn't have a baby in the apartment. Like the space wasn't gonna work because the sunroom would have been too hot for a nursery and wasn't gonna work. So that's when we started looking at other apartments, and it was easily going to be, I think it was going to be just under 9 for us to stay in the same complex, but to get another bedroom. But I think we weren't even going to get the sunroom. We were going to even lose some square footage.
Well, I think,
or was that with the sunroom?
With the sunroom, I think it was going to be like, would it be in like 8 or 9?
We were just under 9, and they couldn't even guarantee us that when our lease would have been up.
Without the sunroom, I think it might have been like,
was it
8?
I don't remember, but it was a stupid amount of money for an apartment.
And that was, like I said,
and this is where we went off a little bit from financial piece, because Dave Ramsey is very much like, if you can't buy it, like if you can't buy it outright or you can't make a bigger down payment, don't buy it. But in our case, we ended up looking around and talking, and it made way more sense for us to just go ahead and pay a mortgage. So our mortgage is right around what we were paying for rent.
And not to cut you off, but to cut you off. I don't hate when people say that. Not to cut you off, but then they cut you off. It's like, just say, I'm going to cut you off. So I'm going to cut you off.
Cut me off.
The house process, right? It was literally like last minute. Right. Like, I think our lease was about to be up in like, it had to be like a month or less.
I think we had like a month and a half of looking.
Yeah. And because at that point, we were dead set on just going to another apartment. Like, a house wasn't even on the radar. Right. Until, like, one day I was just on Zillow playing around with numbers. Like, okay, if we put this much down, then how much would our mortgage be? Right. And then I found out, like, if we get a house this much, we put this much down. What? Our mortgage could be right at lower than what we were gonna pay for a 2-bedroom apartment. Right,
but it was right on. We were paying for a 1-bedroom.
Right, so I was like, "What?" And the first places we looked at was
we looked at some condos
or
townhouses.
Townhouses because of the price. Right. Most of them around $60,000, $70,000. Right. Where most of the houses with 3-bedroom. I mean, we were looking at 2-bedroom.
Yeah, we were doing 2 and 3 bedrooms.
Most of the places. Houses in a decent area, they're gonna be
at least 120.
Or like 120, yeah.
Right. But the nice part was because I said we didn't have much time to save it all. Right. So the nice part was we were able to, instead of paying extra on debt, we just stacked back the extra. We still paid our other debts and stacked back. And then I was also lucky we were able to. My dad has cows and I have a cow, and I was
Right.
able to sell my cow. Um, so that was a blessing. But then, of course, for those of you who have gone through the house buying process before, they will approve you for way more than you can actually afford.
Oh, because she was. That was a big level of contention with. I don't even want to talk about old buddy because that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother
Make sure you
video.
know who you're getting
Yeah,
for
that's
your
a whole
realtor.
nother
Yeah.
video, and he was Dave Ramsey approved. So if there's one slight of Dave Ramsey, I got to give him that
Right.
one. But that guy, he kind of annoyed me in the beginning process because it's like you'll tell a realtor like, look, this is what we're looking at spending, and for whatever reason, they'll show you 3 houses that is above what you're trying to spend,
Right.
and it's like,
And they're like,
bro,
oh, well, we got you approved.
I was like, I know I can get
for
approved for it.
We got approved like double what we paid for our house.
Yeah, we could have probably easily got approved for like
150 or
150.
something. It was over 150, I think.
But we would have been at the very top of our budget,
right.
which was a no way, Jose. Like
Right.
it wasn't even an option. Like so, we scoured the internet, and we, with his help also, we were trying to find a house in a decent area, but where we could spend the least amount of money. And we found a house in a semi decent area for way lower than what we were expecting.
We also we were very blessed because our house that we are in now was it was a foreclosure that a nonprofit bought and then fixed up. And because I was a teacher at the time and he worked for the government, or he like a federal job, whatever it was, I can't think of the word that they used, he got we were like a list of people who could eventually qualify for the home. And so,
but we also got lucky,
right? Because
it's
definitely a blessing.
Financially, technically, we made the year that they took for our finances, because this had to be like you had to be in a lower financial.
Yeah, you had to have, because it was like first it was like veterans,
right?
Or first active military and veterans, and then it was like their families, and then it was civil servants. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was civil servants, and then it was like a monetary amount, which we ended up making a little bit over the amount.
But it was like the year that they took from our finances, we made like, let's say maybe like between 8.
I don't remember what
it was like between $5 and $10,000 of what they wanted.
Right.
What the requirement was. But had they took the year after, we made like 20.
Right, because I was coaching
more.
guard, and we got hired on, and So it was one of those things where we can't fully say like it's all because of what we did, because a lot of it was God's blessing in that. Because there's no way that we could have found a house this move-in ready and this safe of a neighborhood. Well, right. We could also do a whole other story time on it. If you're wanting another story time, we could do a story time on our house.
Yeah, move-in ready. That's
that appeared this move-in ready.
Yeah.
Y'all know your realtor. Know a contract. No, not a con. No, go one of those two.
Know everybody.
An appraiser, yeah.
Know a realtor.
An appraiser.
Personally, know appraiser. Not necessarily appraiser. An inspector.
Inspector, that's what it is, yeah.
An inspector who's not tied to the realtor. Again, we had to learn it the hard way, so we don't want anyone to have to go through what we went through. But we're gonna get off of that.
Okay, we know the story time we can make now.
Yeah. So we again, every decision we were making was, even if it wasn't like step in step with Dave Ramsey, it was still we were being financially
we're trying to be good stewards of our money.
Yeah, financially smart, and get everything within our budget, if not lower than technically what we could afford.
Right.
If not way lower than what we could afford.
Right. Because we want to make sure we could actually afford it, not like, oh, you can't afford it. Like, no, I want to know that we can afford it.
Right.
And so where are we now? Well, we are down to both of our student loans.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have another credit card from some different business ventures that did not turn out as planned. Some wedding stuff. It got moved on different cards, so we have gotten that down to one card. Oh, income taxes 1 year. We end up owing, so we put it all on one card because we were able to get like almost 2 years of no interest. So that's what we're down to now. Which is not, we were originally want to be a little farther than that, but that's what happens when you impromptu have a kid a little earlier than planned.
So you're just gonna blame the kid.
And then also, no, I was about to say, I'm just about to say.
Yeah, about to.
But then, but then also, a big thing was this last year I wasn't able to.
Oh, you better watch that language.
I quit my job as a teacher, making a stable salary, and I tried a couple at-home ventures. And ended up, I currently work in a warehouse part-time, but I took a part-time job from a full-time salary job. I went to a hourly warehouse job. So we make way less money now. But the nice part is that because we made such strides and we have always stayed within our means, and we have less debts,
we're able to make it work.
We're able to make it work, right?
We're still not where we want to be, but had we went for a house at the top of our budget, we probably would be.
I wouldn't have been able to. I would have been forced to stay in my job.
Right. And if she did make that decision,
or we would have had to sell our house, or we would have lost our home.
Right. So again, that's why it's important not to ever go to the top of your budget, because then you don't give yourself any wiggle room. Like once you're at the top of your budget, like any unforeseen thing that happens, I mean, it's GG. It could be a wrap.
Right.
And you have to make drastic decisions. But so we want to kind of talk about, like, we're not gonna act like we're sitting here and we're acting like we're the Brady Bunch or some perfect couple when it comes to finances. We have had our up and downs, and we still do have our up and down. And part of that is, the biggest part of it is being very disciplined with your money.
Right.
Like, we're not even fully with the Dave Ramsey. He wants you to use strictly cash for everything.
And we've gotten away from that.
Yeah, he wants you to budget out everything. Like, there's no such thing as free money. Like, every single dollar that's coming in has a specific purpose.
And now some of that is your fun money that you get to throw away. But it's budgeted though. Right. Like your budgeting, or it's your date night money.
Right.
I think some people, they hear the word budget and they're like, but I want to be able to stop and get Starbucks. That's cool if that's a priority for you. Like getting your morning coffee is a priority. Awesome, budget it in.
Right.
Like for me, my oils or something, you gotta budget them in.
Right. And so that's probably, again, that's definitely where we struggle the most is. Right. Like, if we have, let's just throw out a ballpark number, if we have $300 for groceries in a month, like, however we want to do it, if it's bi-weekly or every week we go shopping, which is kind of what we're doing now.
Right.
If the $300 that's the goal for the month, then whenever we go grocery shopping, that's all the food that we have. We have an issue where, like, I'm going to be honest and take some of it is where, like, I hate eating the same thing over and over, like leftovers.
I'm so moody with my food.
And I am too. And I have, like, cravings. So, like, I'll randomly be at work and be like, you know what sounds good tonight? Frito chili pie. But you know what we just did? We bought Frito chili pie. Nothing to make Frito chili pie for the week. And it's like, babe, you know what sounds good right now? Frito chili pie.
I'm bad. I'm like,
can I go get some Frito chili pie?
That sounds really good.
Yeah, go get some Frito chili pie. And next thing you know, that's an extra $15 that we didn't account for.
Right.
Or wake up late and then get breakfast. I'm going to fly in Mickey D's drive-through. That's an extra $5.
There's some things where even like written off the dollar menu, it's like, oh, it's $2 here. But like $2 every other day for a month is $30.
Right.
Like, it's just, it's like if you do $2 here and then a happy hour at Sonic on the other days, like, it adds up so fast.
Yeah.
But that's where we constant communication, like we're constantly talking about the budget. Oh, I'll say, Dave Ramsey does have an app. It's called Every Dollar and it's free. And that was super handy whenever I was on a salary. Now I personally find it a lot harder to do budget like I used to now. Because we both get paid by the hour. So my checks are pretty easy to figure out. His, I have a terrible time figuring out like what his check is going to be. So what I've started doing is I literally just have a big calendar, and I mark out every day how much is due, what's coming out, and then I know how much to move into the account each week.
Right.
And that is what has worked for us the best since we've transitioned to away from me teaching. Um, I know that might work for some people, might not work for others. That's just like I said. That's what I find really handy right now, because I have a visual display and I'm seeing it and I am physically moving the money to where it needs to go. Um,
Yeah.
but and the ultimate goal is for um, Stuart's check to cover the debts and the bills, and then my paycheck just to be getting thrown in debt.
Right.
It's hit or miss there. It kind of depends on the week, but that's
Right.
the goal is for that.
And like you said, it's constant communication. One thing I would say, at least personally, that I really got to get locked into is Dave Ramsey talks about like essentially like I mean you got to be on the grind. Like
He calls it the gazelle intensity.
right if you can pick up extra hours at your job, there's no such thing as I might. It's like no, I'm there because it's all about like he said, living like no one else, so you can live like no one else. So it's like hustling and grinding, and that's something that I got the energy I gotta really tap into. I tap into it for a second, and again, like a lot of our issues is discipline. It's like we'll be on fire for about a week or two, and then it's like we'll start slacking, and the next thing you know, we didn't slack for 3 months, and then it's like all right, now let's pick it back up. When it's like if we can continue to keep that steady pace, and that's all we know, then we can make a lot of leadway. But like again, I will say, we are constantly communicating, even when we fall off. It's like, hey, babe, let's pick it up.
Right.
It's like, hey, like it's always communication, which is huge. It's not like I would say she does. I gotta help more on like the budgeting day to day stuff, but like even then, like it's still communication. It's not like somebody just doing their own thing.
Right.
Like we don't really have that issue.
Right.
Like she said, we're down to 2 student loans and 1 credit card. But we're not even happy with that.
Right.
And so we have a general. We don't have a general. We have an idea of a plan of attack of what we need to do to accomplish our ultimate goal, which is to be debt free. And so right now, I'm working, but then I'm also trying to explore other avenues to bring in extra income because I really like by the end of this year, and we've talked about it. I really want her to be in a position where I can replace the income, if not double the income she's making at her
Not my
warehouse
part-time
job. Right. I want to be able to replace that income at least, and then the work she will be doing will be more like work from home stuff.
Right.
Like handle the day to day of our side hustle. Yeah. And then I would be still working at my full time job as a mailman, but then also with the side hustle with her help, also helping blow that up. Maybe even the YouTube thing blows up and we're making income from there. And we're just making a big pot of sources of income coming in.
Right.
And then I got other ventures that I'm looking into. So it's just kind of like that's the plan of attack is let's make as much money as we can, pay off as much debt as we can, as fast as we can. Yeah. And we can get it debt free as quick as possible. Now, we probably will eventually, get another mortgage.
Right.
But other than that, we don't plan on ever taking another car.
But we plan that mortgage to go real fast.
Right.
Because if that's our only debt we're paying, then we're putting a big down payment on it. Then.
Right. We want to put a big down payment, and then we want to attack that debt the same way we attack all the other ones. Debt. And at that point, hopefully, we have so much money coming in, we can throw thousands a month at that one mortgage.
Right. So it'll be gone in no time.
Right. So, but that's kind of like that's kind of how we deal with finances in our family. Again, we're not perfect. We're far from perfect. We're not experts. And we have a long, extremely long way to go
Right.
before we're at the point that we want to be at. But every day we're trying to work towards that. And, there's times where we take a step forward, take 2 steps back, but the vision is always there. Like, we know where we're trying to get to.
Right.
So
we hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any comments, let us know. We'd love to talk to you. Or if there's, if you have any financial tips that you want to share, throw those on in the comments too. Let's help each other out here. And anything else you want to add?
No, but I'll add this. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope that I hope everybody financial freedom.
Right.
I wish that for everybody. Like, I wish that we all just are debt free and able to really enjoy life and enjoy our families. Like, so, yeah.
Right. Like I said, if you have any questions, we'd love to help. We're not professionals.
Right.
We just have the information that we've been blessed with, and we want to.
If you have information for us, don't be shy. Like,
right.
Let's not be shy to share ideas and information, and help each other out.
Right. Yeah. So, don't forget, like the video.
Like it.
Comment. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. You guys know the drill by now.
Yep. And we hope you enjoyed this video. And again, thanks for Ballin with
the
the Ballards.